So I was reading a new Watchtower article, Maintain Your Joy in Old Age, which essentially tries to tell all the boomer Jehovah's Witnesses that they haven't wasted their life in a cult. In case you're tuning in for the first time, you know that I was one of Jehovah's Witnesses for 30 years. Both my parents are now in their mid to late 70s. They've been devout their whole lives. I can tell you right now that there are a ton of older Jehovah's Witnesses who are racked with regret, but they can never admit it out loud because they have devoted their entire lives to a corporation and have nothing to show for it now, except for bad backs and broken families. And they sure as hell don't have any money, so it's not like they can retire in dignity unless they were one of the smart ones who actually prepared. All right, 3 things that stood out to me. The first 2 paragraphs, it says, people around the world react differently to getting old. All right, paragraph 2. Our Heavenly Father has a different view of his servants who are aging. I'm sure he does. All right. He likens them to thriving trees. One of the most striking trees is the Japanese flowering cherry, blah, blah, blah. Okay, much like these mature trees, faithful ones who are up in years are beautiful, especially in God's eyes, and he appreciates the beautiful qualities of older ones, their endurance and loyalty, as well as their many years of faithful service to him, aka the organization. Endurance and loyalty are not inherently virtuous. You can endure abuse. You can endure hemorrhoids. All right, there were people who were loyal to the Third Reich. You can be loyal to anything. It doesn't make you right. It doesn't make you correct. It doesn't mean you have, quote, the truth. That in itself is not a definition or proof that you are doing the right thing. So this is supposed to flatter and comfort exhausted senior Jehovah's Witnesses who know they wasted their life. And I wouldn't necessarily say it's their fault. They were either recruited into it or brainwashed from birth. And, leaving something like this is like Prozac. It's like taking some sort of SSRI. You abruptly stop taking it. You experience severe withdrawal. Very least, you have the half-life of a medication, right? It takes time for the medication to leave your system. So some people in this age bracket will slowly step away. They'll start fading. Even in their old age, they'll start to leave in increments over time until they're in their twilight years and they're like, damn, I regret or I hate that it took me this long, but hell yeah, at least I'm free now for the few years I've left. And for others, it's that sunk cost fallacy. They know it's bullshit, but they've invested their entire lives into the organization. They leave now, they don't know what the hell to do with themselves. So, I don't always think it's a matter of, you have all these regrets. Oh, well, that's your fault. A lot of these people have just been conditioned for decades. Okay, another part says, paragraph 7, perhaps you're saddened by the possibility that the end of this system will not come in your lifetime. This is infuriating. I'm not even 82 years old. I'm not even a witness anymore. Okay, so it says, if you feel that way, what can help? Try to remember that Jehovah is patiently waiting to bring an end to this wicked world. But his patience is not without purpose. His patience is allowing millions of people the time and opportunity to come to know him and serve him. So when you feel discouraged, right? Try to think about how many people will benefit from Jehovah's patience before the end comes. Might some of them be members of your own family? Okay, so why is this infuriating? Because they're liars. All right, if the Jehovah's Witnesses were politicians, their campaign ran on the world ending, on Armageddon, on paradise and never dying. So when they're like, shucks, you're probably not going to see the end in your lifetime. You have to understand, they told these same people, all right, when they were 5, 12, 16, 22 years old, that this generation shall not pass away, referring to the 1984 debacle, where they promised everyone living at that time of that publication that they would never get old and die. I mean, yeah, we can make fun of this, of course that's easy. Like, really? You really thought you were gonna live forever? Well, that's what you get for being stupid. But again, it's never that simple with a cult. There's a whole litany of things that are stupid and far-fetched in the Jehovah's Witnesses, but you are completely entrenched by that point, right? You were born and raised in this, and your brain would explode if you admitted to yourself that it was all a sham. And then they pull this double whammy, all right? Jehovah is patiently waiting to bring an end to this wicked world because he's allowing millions of people the time and opportunity to convert. That's what it means, all right? To come to serve him, to convert to being Jehovah's Witnesses. They take these older ones and Jehovah's Witnesses in general, they take them for stupid and rub salt in the wound. Now, it's a good thing Jehovah's taking his sweet ass time because that means your neighbor won't be killed. Like your neighbor gets to smoke, drink, and fornicate. And if he makes it right under the wire before Armageddon, he's saved. Meanwhile, you spent your whole life being righteous and you're just gonna croak. Isn't Jehovah great? Yeah, the whole thing is just heartbreaking and insulting to their intelligence because I guarantee you, even if they never leave, a lot of these witnesses are not stupid. I mean, don't get me wrong, a lot of them are, but there's a good percentage who realize this doesn't check out. They're most likely grappling with at least a degree of cognitive dissonance. But for one reason or another, they're stuck, swallowing this pill. All right, number 3. Okay, strive to help others. This is good. All right. When you focus your time and energy on others, you will be less likely to focus on your own problems, you selfish bastard. You don't get it. It never ends. It's never enough. Okay, it goes on. An African proverb likens older ones, and of course they don't even state the proverb for context. An African proverb likens older ones to a library filled with books containing a wealth of wisdom, but books that are left on the shelf do not teach or tell stories. So as a living library, take the initiative to share your knowledge and experience with younger ones. Yeah, because that's what young people want. All right, ask them questions and then listen. Teach them. Teach them why living by Jehovah's standards is always best and will make them happy. No doubt you will feel joyful when you comfort and strengthen your younger friends. Teach them why living by Jehovah's standards is always best and will make them happy. Whatever you got to tell yourself to sleep at night, right? So actually, a couple of years ago, the organization produced a video that I thought actually captured, this was not their intent. Their intent is to say like, oh, look, I spent my whole life in this and I got to tell myself that it was all worth it. But man, they actually inadvertently caught the regret. Check out this clip.
Oh, how I remember the days of my youth. So many happy memories in Jehovah's service. So much has changed.
It's a tough pill to swallow, man. For a lot of these old timers who were either hoodwinked or just trapped in it for years. Have people just chase this dangling carrot their whole lives. This is the same song and dance. They've been telling Jehovah's Witnesses, OGs in the comments will tell you. The Jehovah's Witnesses have been doing this for over 100 years, telling people that the end is coming. So I would not be surprised in the slightest if in the next couple of years, next year or 2, 5 years, that, we might have been wrong about the end of the world. Who knows? But thankfully, there are some who are waking up. Decided to cut their losses and enjoy their freedom. Good for them. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.